What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so this is a requested video from one of my subscribers when we do a comparison between Nate Mcmillan and Scott Brooks as head coaches in the NBA. Well, these guys have something in common. Right now, they are both assistant coaches to J.J. Redick with the Lakers. I don't know why J.J. Redick is a head coach. Your guess is as good as mine. But anyway, they're both assistants, which goes to show you that their expertise is still something that other coaches seek. These were both scrappy players as far as role players in the NBA. Nate McMillan was the better of the role players of the two. Matter of fact, these two were involved in a 1993 bench clearing brawl back when Nate McMillan was a member of the Sonics and Scott Brooks a member of the Houston Rockets. Scott Brooks played for various teams in the NBA from 1988 from 1988 to 1998. But his most memorable stint was with the Houston Rockets, where he won a championship during the 1993-94 season. Nate McMillan played his entire 12-year career, 86 to 98, with the Sonics. He's the better of the NBA too because he actually has accolades. He led the NBA steals in the 93-94 season, averaging an incredible 3 steals per game. Was named twice to all defensive second teams and made an appearance in the 1996 NBA Finals with the Sonics. They lost ultimately in 6 to the Chicago Bulls. Scott Brooks, however, did win a championship. Scott Brooks was a better three-point shooter. Nate McMillan by far the better defensive player. As far as their coaching styles are concerned, Nate McMillan was much more of a disciplinarian, much more strict and hands-on. As a matter of fact, he had a nickname of Sarge early on in his career. His first coach and his coaching mentor was Bernie Bickerstaff. That was his first coach when he first came to the NBA. And as a matter of fact, I think when he was, I can't remember whether it was when he was with the Sonics or whether he was with the Trailblazers, but one of those teams, Bernie Bickerstaff was actually an assistant. Over the years, Nate McMillan has toned down a little bit of the military type tactics because, this generation is soft. I'm sorry, it's just the case. You can't talk to these guys the same way you did the other guys back in the day. These guys crying, want to put out hits on you. But anyway, Nate McMillan still is more of a defensive-oriented coach who tends to gravitate toward situations involving point guards. He was a point guard. Basically, every coach now runs the pick and roll. Same thing with Scott Brooks. But Scott Brooks, his approach is a little bit different. He's more of a cerebral coach. He's more hands-off. He's not in-your-face type guy. Tends to be on the side. Tend to melt on the sideline. But they're both great coaches. With Scott Brooks, the only thing I can remember is, it's another guy that entrusted a lot of his team as far as success in point guards. This is when he used to let Russ be Russ with the Thunder, and sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Especially when he was younger. I do think Russ makes better decisions now than he used to, but Russ is Russ. As far as success is concerned, Nate McMillan for his career, 760 victories, 668 losses, a .534 win percentage. Just 28 and 48 in the postseason for only a .368 win percentage. Scott Brooks has a slightly better percentage, fewer wins, 521 victories, 414 defeats, a .557 win percentage. But more success in the postseason than Nate McMillan, 49 and 48, or just over 50%, a .505 win percentage. Now, having stated that, could also make the argument that Scott Brooks played with, coached talent. I mean, this is the guy that coached 3 MVPs in OKC with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. Even in Washington, initially, if I'm not mistaken, when he got there, he still had Bradley Beal and John Wall. Whereas Nate McMillan, I'm not saying he didn't coach talent, he did. But, you know, when he coached the Sonics in the early 2000s, they were on the decline. When he coached Portland, you know, those are the days I think they had, if I'm not mistaken, Brandon Roy, a young, what's his name? The one that just retired, had the heart problem. LaMarcus Aldridge. With the Pacers. Basically, Nate McMillan specializes, if you look at his coaching trajectory and teams he coached, he does well when he's fairly hired when a franchise needs a stabilizing coach. And they need somebody that's going to nurture young talent. You know, although I do think that his approach isn't working as well as it used to, because these guys really don't want to be coached. A lot of these guys don't want to be coached. I'm not going to name names, but you just saw who was in the ATL. You see who's still there, right? So some of these guys don't really want to be coached. They want to just be left alone and have somebody, you know, let them do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Both of you guys haven't coached in a while. Nate hasn't coached since he was fired after the 2022-23 season, or during the 2022-23 season, actually. Scott Brooks hasn't coached the NBA in 3 years. So, who's the better of the two? Well, I mean, it's really hard to say. They don't have a championship. Well, look, Scott Brooks does have an NBA Coach of the Year award, which he won in 2010. 2 times he was an NBA All-Star Game head coach. So that's something. He's not going to the Hall of Fame as a head coach. Nate McMillan does not have head coach of the year awards. Never been an All-Star Game coach. However, Nate McMillan does have some Olympic medals as far as coaching. He was an assistant coach for the Redeem team in 2008, Beijing winning the gold. 2012, London, assistant coach. Won the bronze in 2006 in Japan with FIBA's World Championship, and won the gold with FIBA's America's Championship in 2007 in Las Vegas. So who's the better coach? Quite honestly, I call this one a draw. This is a draw, man. I really don't think you flip a coin. Flip a coin as far as who you think is the better of the two. You know, you can make an argument for Scott Brooks. You can make an argument for Nate McMillan. Look at win percentage, you give the edge to Scott Brooks. You look at overall talent and what they've done with that talent. I remember the 2021 run he did with the Hawks, going to the conference finals. I mean, that's just a round below what Scott Brooks did with going to the finals, and he didn't have 3 MVPs on his team. So yeah, I can see an argument from Nate McMillan too. Something is telling me to say Nate, but I'll just say a draw. But tell me what you guys think.